So I recently purchased the Arcade1Up Pac-Man XL Costco exclusive arcade machine from my local Costco. This thing is $599 in store, which is what I paid. You can order it online for a small additional charge. Now it's $629 online. I'll have a link for that in the video description below if you don't want to hunt and chase down your Costcos and try to find one. This is the largest Pac-Man arcade machine made by Arcade1Up as of today, measuring in at 22 inches by 22.5 inches by 65 inches tall. That's right, compared to those 19-inch wide and under 60-inch arcade cabinets on risers, this thing is a monster. It weighs 75 pounds, and many of the things that we've been complaining about for years, Arcade1Up has finally addressed, including having beautiful light-up marquee for Pac-Man. Take a look at that, whether you're in a bright room, whether you're in a dark room. This marquee is stunning. The overall cabinet shape does mimic the Bandai Namco cabinet shapes. One thing that's really interesting, though, is they do have light-up buttons on the control panel, which I'm just not a big fan of. You guys know that. The button quality on these are those bail-in buttons. They're pretty much, this particular brand of bail-in buttons is very similar to like those EG Starts buttons that you can get off Amazon. They're an improvement versus Arcade1Up Generation 1, 2, 3 Pac-Mans in the past. I know I saw a lot of people asking questions about the joystick in the community. Well, guess what? They do have a square gate that's rotated diagonally, which makes it a four-way gate. That's right. So for all 14 games included, you are going to get the four-way gate. Also, there's no way to turn off the light-up buttons built into the software. You do need to remove these plugs on the inside of the control panel that plug into the light bulb portion of the button in order to disable the light-up feature. Now, I've owned and reviewed plenty of Arcade1Up Pac-Man machines. There's plenty of those reviews on this channel. I have to say, man, from an appearance point of view, I think they pretty much nailed it on this one. Yeah, there's a seam where the top meets the base and you screw everything together on the inside, but the overall shape of the cabinet, the artwork, everything just kind of flows together nicely, and in my opinion, I think that this is probably the best looking Arcade1Up Pac-Man they've ever made. They listened to fan feedback, they've given us coin doors, they even gave us coin doors that light up when you hit the power switch, so you don't need to purchase an add-on accessory later, which stinks for my buddy Laramie over at Retro 530, but hey, they listened to feedback, they added the light up coin door. The Arcade1Up logo on the coin door seems repetitive considering there's an Arcade1Up logo on the kick plate right above it. The control panel's slanted, which is nice when you're sitting in a stool or even if you're standing up. I noticed playing this game for a long period of time, I did not have any issues with my hands hurting or things like that, like I did when I was playing on the Arcade1Up Big Blue Street Fighter cabinet. I think the slant is just right, and everything, again, just feels nice when you're playing it, whether you're sitting down or standing in front of it. A big miss on this control panel is the fact that you do have to disassemble the entire cabinet if you want to upgrade your buttons and joysticks at a later date. And again, everything turns on when you hit the on switch, the coin door lights, as well as the light up buttons. Having to disassemble the cabinet to put in different buttons or a joystick is a pain in the ass. Not only do you have the Arcade1Up logo on the coin door as well as on the kick plate, they also have it on the bezel. And of course, they did a great job on the bezel artwork. They really don't screw this up on Arcade1Up Pac-Man arcades. Taking a look underneath the marquee on this overhang hutch that you build and assemble, you'll notice they did include as well as speaker grill covers. So that's a nice addition as well that, again, they're listening to fan feedback, trying to give people what they're asking for. Sometimes it's the little things. And the audio on this arcade, which I'll play you some clips here momentarily, is pretty dang good. And probably one of the biggest and most requested and best improvements they put on this arcade machine versus all the other Arcade1Up Pac-Mans in the past is we do have a 19-inch BOE IPS screen. That's right, so the colors look even better than they do on this video. Again, my cameras have a hard time picking up when I'm pointing stuff at these black screens. But the blacks are a deep, rich black. All the colors are nice and vibrant. The games look great from every angle compared to, let's just say, the Pac-Mania edition and things in the past that they released with some weak TN monitors with bad viewing angles and bad coloring, etc. Zooming in, my camera is able to adjust a little bit better so you can see how nice and rich the colors look on this monitor. And I gotta say, man, it looks great. 19 inches. It's the way it should have been from the beginning, man. It looks fantastic. The joystick has definitely been improved on this one. Definitely better than like the Pac-Man 40th anniversary that I had in the past. Definitely better than the Costco Super Pac-Man that I had in the past. This particular joystick feels pretty good. It's probably the same joystick they have in their Arcade1Up Pac-Man Deluxe that came out earlier this year, which, by the way, it's kind of tough to release a Deluxe and then an XL in the same year, and your customers are going, huh? You may have asked, well, where you been the last couple days, PDubs? You've been quiet. Well, I've been testing this machine. I've been playing all 14 games included. It's the same 14 games. It's the same PCB that they've used in the last 2 generations of Pac-Man. It is Wi-Fi enabled, so you're sharing all the same community online leaderboards and things like that. Connects to the app on the phone, things like that. Nice little features there by Arcade1Up with the mobile app, etc. But overall, man, I mean, it's one thing I've noticed, though, is the machine does wobble a little bit. That's right. Although it weighs 75 pounds and it's a larger machine, it's still kind of narrow for a real arcade machine, and it's not a 100-plus pound machine, so it is going to wobble a bit if you're yanking on it. Then again, I am playing it on carpet. I wonder how it would be on hardwood floors. You'll have to let me know. I think I did a thorough enough test of all 14 games. One game in particular that I spent a lot of time on was this Pac-Mania, and the reason why is Arcade1Up notoriously Pac-Man machines in the past. This particular game, they couldn't get it emulated right on older generation Pac-Mans. There'd be a lot of screen tearing when you would be traveling north and south on the screen going up and down. Well, just like the last couple Pac-Mans, because they're using the same PCB, same firmware, that issue's gone. The game runs really well. I'm not noticing any screen tearing. As well as when I play all the other games, I'm not noticing any issues. If you have noticed any issues, definitely point them out to me in the comments below. The online leaderboards are always fun for score chasers. As you can see right here, tested Galaga 88, got 97,000 points, put me in 850th place. I did do a test run with Pac-Man. I scored 3,000 points and then let myself die because I wanted to see how deep the leaderboards went, and guess what? It had me in like 25,000 something place. So there's a lot of people out there that actually own these Arcade1Up Pac-Man machines of different models, etc. The live button on the control panel is essentially useless unless you want to hop in, adjust whether or not you want people to see your high scores, adjust your Wi-Fi settings, your network settings, double check you're on the latest firmware version, which is the one that came out in July, as well as make sure you could add some of your friends as favorites. Couple common questions I'm sure people will ask is, are there dip switch settings? Yes, there are. Every single game has their own unique dip switch settings, including on Pac-Man. You can activate fast mode, so if you want to zip around the game board like Pac-Man on crack, you can, as well as they have fast mode available for Pac-Man Plus. That's right, so you can do the same thing on this game as well. And of course, when it comes to Galaga, you do have the fast fire option here, as you can see how fast the missiles are flying up the screen. So good news there, you're able to play those ways if you want to on this machine. It's nice to see that those features are included because they're not included on every other Pac-Man arcade cabinet that Arcade1Up has released. I remember several years ago, we were all pretty excited when Arcade1Up came out and Arcade1Up started releasing cabinets, and then we had risers, and we could put the cabinets on risers, and we actually felt like they were more for adults versus children. But then again, it always felt like something was missing. Now that these arcades are in an XL form factor, just in my own personal opinion, because opinions do change over time, guess what? This is the way it should be moving forward. As someone who collects real arcade machines, real pinball machines, as well as these products from Arcade1Up at Games and more, I actually feel like I can have these products in the same room side by side together, as you can see here, and it doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel like I have a toy amongst the real thing. Overall, in my opinion, this is a pretty damn good job by Arcade1Up on Pac-Man XL. I don't really have a lot to complain about. I really don't. It's just that it's Pac-Man. It's been done a million times before. You probably already own it. I've bought it so many times, and it's a shame I had to buy it so many times in order to finally get the one that I wanted. This is probably one I'm actually going to keep in my collection with no intentions on selling or trading it anytime soon. Also, really nice that they added screw caps. That's a small thing, but nice to see it doesn't look like a drive-by shooting anymore. Cabinet itself is beautiful, sounds great, plays great, looks great. We just have some things with too many Arcade1Up logos, light-up buttons, things like that, and all that kinds of stuff. But overall, man, I'm pretty impressed with what Arcade1Up pulled off here. And the theme of this video was, is it too big, too late? It might be. I don't know if this company's still going to be in business next year. It might just be too big, too late. But But let me know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up on the way out, comments, feedback, reactions below, and as always, thank you for subscribing.